Thank you. Welcome to another edition of Fishmonger Stories. My name is George, but I go by the name Fishmonger Stories. Today, I have two riddles and a story. The riddles to see if you are smarter than an average African child. But first things first. If you are coming in for the first time, please welcome Karibu. If you are a return Fishmonger Stories, subscribe, like, leave a comment, and share the stories. Because in our culture, stories are meant to be shared. Are you ready for some riddles? Are you ready for some stories? Riddle number one, to see if you are smarter than an average African child. I have a friend. My friend, he teaches me everything. My friend, he teaches me everything. But my friend, he cannot talk or speak. Who is my friend? I have a friend. My friend, he knows everything. He teaches me everything. But my friend, he cannot talk or speak. Who is my friend? I don't want you to think like an American. No, I want you to think like an average African child. What is the answer? I have a friend. My friend teaches me everything, but my friend, he cannot speak. The answer is the book. Yes! Riddle number two. I have a river in which you can only bathe in the morning. What is my river? I have a river in which you can only bathe in the morning. What is my river? Yes! I don't want you to think like a Chinese. No! I don't want you to think like an Indian. No, yaar. Tell me, I have a river in which you can only bathe in the morning. What is my river? Yes, the answer is the morning dew. Yes, I told you to think like an African child. The morning dew, it's there only in the morning. By noon, the morning dew is gone. Remember when we used to walk barefoot to school? You wash your feet. You bathe your feet. Yes. As you walk along the grass to school, that's how you bathe your feet. Only in the morning. By noon, the morning dew is gone. Can I tell you a story? Are you ready for a story? If I say hadithi, you say hadithi njo. Hadithi njo. Paukwa, pakawa, sahani ya mchele. Opi yu yaide. Luka, opi yu yaide. Look at me, which means open your eyes, look at me. Let me impart some stories. Let me impart some wisdom upon your life. If I say in, you say out. I say in, you say out. I say in, you say out. Opi yu yaide. Look at me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this story is about me. Yes, this story is about me as a young man, as a teenager, at a stage that we all go through. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, when I was born, I came out from my mother's womb with such an elastic cry that the midwives who surrounded my mother as she gave birth prophesied upon me and said, "This young man shall one day be a preacher or a singer? Listen to the lungs. Listen to the power in his lungs. He will grow up to be either a singer or a preacher man. A singer or a preacher man, they prophesied. Oh boy, oh boy. Are you ready for a story? Are you ready for this story? A singer or a preacher man? So, I grew up, yes indeed, young, strong, vibrant, always running around, caring for nothing. Oh, when I went to the nursery or kindergarten, boy oh boy, I was number one. When I went to first grade or class 1, I was number one. When I went to second grade, third grade, I was number one. When I went to fourth grade, fifth grade, I was number one. When I went to fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, I was number one. When I sat for the national exams, KCPE, in class 8 or 8th grade, I was number one. And I went to the to high school. First term of high school, I was number 2. Because I met different smart boys from other schools. I went to Kisumu Boys High School. First term, number 1. Who was number 2? Number 1 was this Yemeni Faisal Sharma Ondoyo. We call him Ondoyo. Of Yemeni descent. Faisal was number 1. Second time, I was number 1. So we swapped back and forth, me and Faisal. He was number 1, I was number 2. He was number 1, I was number 2. Second year, yes, second year in high school, yes. Boy, oh boy, I was 14, 15, sweet 16 setting in, yes. I was number 4. Before you know it, I was number 6. Before you know it, I was number 12. Yes, sweet 16 was setting in. Adolescence was setting in. My grades were slowly starting to plummet. Yes, and my father, who was a financial accountant, one night he sat me down and said, "Son, what is going on?" And as a sweet 16, I said, "I don't know." "Well, your grades does not reflect that. Where is your head?" I wanted to say, "My head is right here between my shoulders," but I knew better than to say that, because my father would flatten you like bonje bonje. I didn't want to be flattened like bonje bonje, so I just kept quiet. "Son, your grades do not reflect. Where is your head? Where is your head?" I was thinking, my head is right here between my shoulders. What is this man talking about? He said, "Son, sit down. Let me tell you a story." I've known my father for 16 years at that time, and he was a man of few words. And for my father to sit me down to tell me a story, boy, oh boy, this was getting interesting. The old man, he sat me down and said, "Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time," said my father, "there was a very fierce crocodile. This fierce crocodile was called Orebonyang. Orebonyang, he lapped up and down this river. He was very fierce. The villagers were afraid of crossing that river. Nothing could cross that river. Orebonyang would come so fast and eat them. Anybody who dared to touch that river, even with their single toe, Orebonyang would come from nowhere and Orebonyang was so fierce. The villagers, they had a song for him. Orebonyang, mimia mia, mimia mia, Orebonyang, mimia mia, mimia mia, Orebonyang, mimia mia, mimia, Orebonyang, mimia mia, mini Orebonyang. He will get what he wants to eat no matter what. Mimi amia, orebonyang, mimi amia. Mimi orebonyang, mimi amia. Mimi orebonyang, mimi amia. Mimi ami orebonyang, mimi amia. Mimi orebonyang, mimi amia. Orebonyang, he would get anything he wanted to eat. And nobody dared cross that river. One day, a female dog brought its baby dogs to the river to drink. Oh, this female dog, he wanted to train his little puppies how to drink safely from the river where Orebonyang was without getting caught. And so this female dog, he brought his puppies to the river and told them, listen, puppies, if I say drink, you drink as fast as you can. If I say stop, stop. If I say drink, drink as fast as you can. If I say stop, stop. And so the female dog, he brought his puppies and he told them, he looked around, up and down, listening for Orebonyang. He didn't see Orebonyang. And he told his puppies, drink. And the little puppies would stop. And they jumped off and waited for instructions from their mother. Drink. Stop. They jumped off. Drink. Stop. They jumped off. And Orebonyang came. Orebonyang did not have a puppy meal. And the mother said, drink. Stop. They jumped. Orebonyang, he came. That day, Orebonyang did not have a puppy meal. Oh, and as you know, the little puppies, they grew bigger and bigger. One of those puppies felt like he had known enough about life, like he could just go to the river by himself. And so he left his siblings, he left his mother, and went to the river all by himself. Yes, this puppy dog went to the river all by himself. After all, his mother had trained him and he knew what to look out for, when to drink, when to stop. Oh, this puppy, he went to the river, and he looked around, just like the mother had trained him. And he started drinking. When he heard Orebonyang coming, he stopped and jumped off. Waited a little bit, and he started drinking again. When Orebonyang came, he jumped off. And the following day, the puppy came back again. And he would drink and jump off. Drink and jump off. Orebonyang would come. That day, Orebonyang never got any puppy meal. And Orebonyang got upset and said, he's playing with me. He's toying with me. He's playing with me. He's toying with me. He's playing with me. I'm gonna get him. So one day, the puppy dog came back again, and as he was drinking, across the river was another female dog. Oh, this female dog saw this dog drinking by the river, and he called for his attention. Did you understand that? Let me try it again. Yes, I'll do the translation for you. The female dog called out to this puppy dog and said, he said, will you come and take a walk with me? And this puppy dog, he looked, saying, don't you know Orebonyang is in the river? And the female dog, he answered back, saying, if you don't come, I will find someone else who will walk with me. And the puppy dog, he thought long and hard. Say, wait for me. cross this river to get to the other female dog so I can take her for a walk. How do I cross this river without risking my life? And he came up with what he thought was a brilliant idea. He picked up a stick and he threw it way down the river. And the stick went and fell into the river, making a splash. And when Orebonyang had the splash, Orebonyang went down because he thought someone was crossing his river. Orebonyang went down the river. He went down the river because he thought someone was crossing his river. He went down. And as Orebonyang was going down, the puppy dog, he jumped into the river and he started to swim to cross the river. When Orebonyang got down to the river, he found nothing but a stick. And then he looked back and said, "This is a stick. This is a stick. This is a trick. This is a stick. This is a trick." He looked back and saw the puppy dog crossing his river. Oh, Orebonyang, he turned so quickly. And he came back. Oh, bubbling through the water with all that force. And when the dog saw Orebonyang coming back full force, oh, for with his life, Orebonyang came so fast. And the puppy dog, he jumped off the river. And he landed safely. He could hardly believe he had landed safely. He looked at the female dog and said, "I made it. I made it. I made it. I made it. I'm here. I'm here. I made it. I'm here. I'm here to walk with you. I made it. I made it. I'm here. I'm here to walk with you." And the female dog, he looked at the puppy dog. Saying, your tail is in the river. Your tail is in the river. And the puppy dog, he looked. Orebonyang had snapped his tail. And his tail was, the puppy dog's tail was still on top of the water, just floating. And the puppy dog, he looked back and he reached for his tail. He reached for his tail. And as he reached for his tail, out of nowhere, Orebonyang came out of the water and snapped his head off. Snapped the puppy dog's head as he was reaching out for his tail. End of story. And I sat there looking, why is my father telling me such a tragic story? What is this story got to do with a tea in China? What is this story about? And my father, he looked at me deep in my eyes and he said, "Son, never lose your head over a piece of tail. Son, never lose your head over a piece of tail. If you got the moral of the story, you have your head intact. If you didn't, well, you still have some work to do. Thank you for listening to Fishmonger Stories. Please subscribe. It's very, very important that you subscribe and click on that notification bell so when I release a story, you get it first. We go live every Saturday at 3 p.m. Please share the stories. Go to Fishmonger playlist. We have stories, 27 stories for children. We have 14 riddles for kids. We have general audience stories, and we have adult stories in our playlist. Until I see you next Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Kwaheri, asante sana, firmilenge, God bless, Katonda akusekere.